After going to that Women in Animation event 2 vlogs ago, I've decided that I think I want this vlog to be more of a overall review of just everything that I've done up to this point. Hello everybody, I hope you guys are doing good today. I've been doing some thinking for the past couple of days, and I realized that it's been, I know I keep on, saying, the time, just as to how long that I've been out here, but now I believe it's been about 3 months. I don't know about this, but in a few days, it may go on to 4 months. I really don't know. Wait, yeah, I just did the math. Yes, so in the next 5 days, it will have been 4 months total since I've been out here. And I realized that I've learned quite a lot. You know, I've gone in many different directions. There were several times where I got lost and confused and angry and frustrated and I didn't know what to do. And I think in just this vlog, it's a way as to, it's kind of like when people ask you the question, what would you tell your 10-year-old self or something like that? In a way, it's kind of like what I would tell myself 4 months ago, and in a way, what I would tell you, maybe even right now. I think to just make a big overview of everything that I did back to back in one concise statement, when I first came out here for a few days, I was looking at escape room jobs. Then I was looking for TV jobs to be specific, I was applying online for TV jobs, and I did that for a grunt of my time for several months. Then when that wasn't working, I shifted to looking for social media jobs. Then I went back to escape room jobs, and now I am back on TV jobs. So those are the 5 different things that I've done in sequence for these last 4 months. And honestly, thinking back, I think I would have been a lot less stressed had I just listened to my gut instincts and, my own personal feelings, just, as to what I should do. What my issue was, still kind of sort of is, I'll be honest, I'm, trying to get out of that, but I would listen to and take every single piece of advice that every single person would give me. I don't know, it's some people will say go to the left, another person says go to the right, somebody says go straight, somebody says goes backwards and then go up, and it was just a bunch of different directions, and I actually tried to do all those different directions, and what it was is that it was just making me very stressed out, as you can imagine, because I kept on trying to figure out what the right way was. I was trying to figure out what was a mixture of just the smartest way, the most efficient way, or, and I wasn't listening to myself. Instead, I was listening to other people. I think how that happened was because when I first came out here, I had set that goal to try to find a TV job by October 1st. And I mentioned this before, during that period, during those first 2.5 months up until October 1st, I was getting I was mostly just getting a lot of messages, not actually messages, but just some people would say some things, or some would offer ideas, and it's these people were trying to help, but it's they were all basically telling me that I was not going to be able to achieve that goal by that time. And when October 1st did show up and I didn't have the goal, it did hurt my confidence. It's not necessarily that I was upset that I didn't achieve the goal, period, but I guess for whatever reason it was really important to me to finish the goal by that time. I don't know, I guess maybe to prove a point to myself that I could do it, and I guess to prove a point to other people that I could do it. So when it didn't happen by October 1st, I started doubting myself quite heavily. I said before that for a very large chunk of just me, trying to do this journey, I said before that I feel a lot of people, it's when they kind of caught wind as to, what I was doing or how I'm going about it, I would get feelings of just being looked down on or dismissed, or I said this before, I'm just looked as just this clueless kid who has no idea what he's doing. He has no idea what he's getting himself into. And by the time, like I said, that October 1st came, it almost felt like that I had proved all those people right about me. That was what made me start listening to everyone's advice, like all at once, because I was thinking that, because I tried to do it myself, well, not myself, but I tried to do it my way, and it didn't happen by the time I thought it was going to happen, then maybe I should listen to everybody else because they know more than me, they're smarter than me, and all that other stuff. And that's what really put a hamper on my self-confidence. And it was during that time where, like I said, I was just going all over the place, doing everything I was told all at the same time. And that was the worst decision that I made. But then there came a point where I just said, no, I'm not going to do this anymore. This is terrible. I am breaking myself apart. Like I said, I'm doing a whole bunch of stuff that I know I don't want to do, or that I personally don't really think would work for me. So that was when I decided that I'm going to do my journey my way, and of course, if I would like advice, or, if I believe that that person has advice that could help me, then I would incorporate that to what it is that I'm already doing. So, like I said, I've only more or less just started this. I think I've only been trying to go about it my way for a few weeks now, maybe 2 or 3 weeks. But I have to say, in these 2 or 3 weeks, I have felt quite good. It feels good to be doing things the way that I have carved out for myself, and it's to the point where I don't even necessarily care if it will or if it won't work out the way that I think it will. I just feel good that I did this, it's kind of like it was me, it was my decisions. It's like I didn't, like I said, because I feel like that's like a big character flaw in me, where, like I said, I tend to care way too much about what people think about me. So by doing it my way, it's a testament that, hey, I care what I think about me. So the advice that I would give my past self, and the advice that I can give to you, it's a mixture of two things. Like, some of it is stuff that I've already said before, just, about really just trusting yourself and just following your instincts. And I know that can be hard in the beginning. I am still doing it. I'm still nervous to do what I think I should do, because logically it may not make sense to most people, but, still do that. But other advice that I would like to say is what I've learned to understand about this television business. So I don't know, maybe if you would like to get into television someday, or you're thinking about it but you don't know how it works, I'm just going to tell you what I've learned throughout these 4 months. And like I said, and I'm still learning, but ideas are really starting to sink in now. Truth be told, I have to say, one of the most, I have to say there are about 2 primary things to reaching success in this field, and that is networking, and I guess just to continue doing what it is that you're trying to do. For me, that would be writing. So for me, it would be networking and writing. I guess if you want to produce movies, for you it would be networking and producing movies, or you get my point. All right, things started to get a little bit dark in my room, so I had to turn on 2 lights. I don't know if that helps, but hopefully it does. But yeah, so when I was at that Women in Animation event, at the Disney Studios, and I was actually, being introduced to people and talking to people, it's like, I'm gonna go into the networking bit, because I've always heard that word, networking. And when you just hear a word or like a concept so many times, it kind of starts to lose its meaning, and it just kind of just sounds like a word. I'm truly starting to understand what networking is and just how powerful it is. Because from what I've been able to gather is that in terms of just getting a job in this industry, it almost seems like most of it is just word of mouth. It's just like I know it's kind of old-fashioned when people say, I know a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy. I think it is actually quite literally that with this business. Since I've gone to 2 events so far, both of the speakers at the event basically said the same thing, where they've said that most of the jobs and gigs that they've gotten did not come from a boss. They said almost all of it came from a friend. When I was actually in the theater, at the event, I was actually sitting next to someone, and she told me that she's been working, where she's been working for 5 years, and she said throughout all of those 5 years, she's only ever gotten one job that came from just like a cold application. That's why I was having so much difficulty when trying to find a TV job just through normal applications, because it was a mixture of just applying this stuff is all I've ever really known when it comes to jobs. But not only that, like I said before, a lot of the advice that I was getting from other people is just to, treat it like an ordinary job and, just apply. But it's not that simple in a way in terms of this industry of just, just getting online, sending an application, and you're done. I mean, don't get me wrong. I do still think it's important that you do that. But it's like when I was trying to find those positions early on, I realized that most of just the cold applications were for people in like really high positions. Like it's like an executive producer is just hopping from one company to the other, or or somebody who has like 10 years of experience just wants to transfer, to another location. That's what it mostly was, and it was only really, really rare that I found some type of entry-level beginner position as an online application. Another reason that I'm realizing that networking is so important is because when I met, all those great people at during the dinner at the event, I'm realizing that the way that this industry works is that, or at least very least, I think it should work, is that we all take care of each other. It's like everybody does their part to help everybody else. It's like I was at that table and everybody is just telling me just really useful things, and of course I try to do my part to share information that I feel like would be useful to other people too. So when it comes to actually job hunting, when you tell somebody that you're looking for a job, they can just be like, okay, I'll be on the lookout. If something comes up, I'll just let you know. That's pretty much what networking is, and that pretty much looks like the primary way that people get employment, in this business. Because when I was thinking, I was like, if networking really was as difficult as people say or imagine, then that means everybody in the industry would be struggling all the time to find work. But that definitely wasn't the case, because at that event, those 3 speakers, it was cool looking at them, because it's like they were just talking so casually as to how they get their work. She was like, oh yeah, I just hit her up, just like, hey, I'm looking for work, you got something? Oh yeah, we're kind of shooting something, come on down. It's like, it was weird. It's like you just call somebody up and then, just like that, and if, the more people the more people you have to call up. So it becomes like an endless line of, potential opportunities. So truth be told, I believe that the hardest part probably is just building the network. So basically just getting to know a bunch of different people. But once you do know like 10, 20, 30 different people, and 10, 20 or all 30 of those people, are basically looking out for a job for you that, may be good, I think that is what the power of networking is. It's, you don't have to do everything yourself anymore. It's like you have a bunch of people who are there to help you. You have built a network. Like, now the word makes sense to me. And in return, you do the same thing for them. It's like you are also a part of somebody else's network. So like, what I would do, any information that I feel like would be useful to people, I would share with them. Like, that's what I did with Randy. Like, there was some information that I learned, and I was like, maybe Randy could find this useful. And I told him about it, and he was like, oh yeah. So, and that made me feel good. That made me feel like, that I could help. And that's when I'm realizing, how this whole thing works. It's just people helping people do what they want to do and get to where they want to be. So the advice that I would give my past self, and the advice that I can give to you in terms of this business, and more than likely anything that you may be doing, really is to just meet people. It's to meet people, be friendly, make friends, and just be a cool person, And in a way that actually takes out a lot of the stress that I was having, because during that long period, where I felt like I wasn't making any progress, I was just thinking like, oh, maybe I'm just underqualified, or maybe nobody wants me, or, or maybe there's something wrong with me. But no, that's not the case. I just didn't realize, like, it's a lot of work to do all of this all by yourself. What I needed to focus on was just, just meeting as many people as I can. And like I said, in a way, I feel like now I have a bit of an advantage because I believe I am a likable guy. Or, I just try my best to, just be like a nice, pleasant person to talk to and interact with and to be helpful, So now that actually makes me feel better, So the writing part for me and the networking part, I believe those are the two things that I need to focus on the most. And I feel like the more people that I meet, the more people who I can add to this network, the more opportunities that I'll have. And eventually someone is going to end up finding something. And, and I feel like that is going to be the opportunity. And I feel like that's the case for everybody because, a lot of stuff that, like, this is kind of unfortunate, but a lot of the stuff that I've read online, like even before I came out here, even while I've been out here, and even in some cases, some people who I have met just like, on again and off again, a lot of them believe that, they just have a lot of really negative beliefs about breaking into the business. It's basically goes under the umbrella that it's really hard, it's really difficult, you'll be doing this for years and you won't make any progress. People will throw you under the bus. I've heard that before actually from an Uber driver. And just, just a lot of just really bad and negative stuff. And I always thought like, well, if things are so terrible, why would anybody even want to get into the business in the first place? If things were so hard and difficult and miserable, then why are there so many people in the business who are having a lot of fun? And like I said, when I saw those speakers, they didn't seem miserable or stressed out or, constantly in a state of anxiety. No, they seemed cool. They seemed happy. They just seemed like they were just content with themselves and their lives, That is what I've been trying to get. And those are the type of people that I've been trying to meet and the information that I've been trying to consume, because honestly, that's what I think how it should be. So my advice to you, my advice to my past self is to continue with your craft, as often as you can. If you want to write like me, you write. If you want to be an artist, draw. Like I said, it doesn't even really matter if it's any good. What's important is that, you just keep doing it. Because I had realized that there was a point during that 4-month period, just somewhere where I stopped writing. I stopped writing for a good minute because I got strictly focused on trying to find, I think it was when I was trying to find a social media job. I completely stopped writing because I was thinking, well, I don't have time for that. I need to, do all this other stuff instead. But when you think of it that way, say I did end up getting a writing opportunity and then, I'm about to start writing again. Well, I haven't written in like 2 months, so now I'm like rusty and whatnot. So you definitely want to continue your craft just to make sure that, you just stay sharp, you know what to do, and you're just in your best form. Be sure to network and to meet a lot of people that you can. Like I said, and truth be told, I'm starting to realize that it's not really all that hard with networking. It really is just going to people who you feel like can help you. And, and you can offer something that can help to them, So for me, that is just other writers, or other people who either want to be in the industry or who are in the industry. And just, just getting to know them, being a cool person, and just letting them know, hey, I'm kind of looking for something. If you, see something, let me know. And, vice versa. If they say, hey, I'm looking for something, you just be like, okay, sure. It's like, I got you. You're just friends. It's a buddy system. And the last piece of advice that I think I have to give is to just know that things do not have to be so hard or miserable or gritty or terrible or stressful as a lot of other people may think that's how it's supposed to be. Because I've personally always felt like that things never had to be that way. But there was a point where I started believing that, that started sinking in, and I started getting more and more things in real life that, that was a reflection of that belief. Suddenly I wasn't finding like any jobs to apply to online. Suddenly it felt like that, nobody wanted to hire me, and I just felt really, really bad about myself. But then, like I said, I'm not out of it completely. I'm still like switching the gears. But when I told myself that, no, the whole point of this is supposed to be fun. That's something that I believe, now of course there will be some things that are more challenging than others, but I believe something that's being a challenge and something that's just being just a complete dreadful horrible thing to do. Those are two completely different things. Kind of like a video game. It's like, I like challenging video games, but, you know, I guess to do something else is like completely ridiculously hard. I'm not even talking about a video game, just something else. You know, it's like, you know, you don't want to do that. So yeah, I would say just continue doing your craft, network, and just build a network of just, you know, really nice and really awesome people, and be a part of their network as well, because, you know, you can help each other. And just know that this is supposed to be fun. This is supposed to be fun. This is supposed to be enjoyable, and it's supposed to be an adventure. That was something that I lost sight of. It was starting to turn into an ordeal, and that it's never supposed to be an ordeal. When you look back at everything that you've done, you want to have pleasant memories. I go back to a video game, like I've done a lot of challenging things in video games, but when I go back and imagine and just remembered how much fun that I was having, it was like the whole adventure was just a really fun thing to do. But yeah, that's it. So I hope you learned something from this. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you know when my videos are going up, and you can share your support by donating in the links in the description. And be sure to like my Facebook page, because that is the hub of all of my activity. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll talk to you in the next one. See ya.